guys, and welcome back to Narcissus. So, we left off with them driving basically anywhere that they could after stealing some clothes. So, let's just jump right back in. It was just that given the amount we had, it would be very difficult to buy new clothes. After I'd driven for a bit, around when the moon shone full above us, I stopped the car next to some public park, probably a place for children to play, tucked away in the corner of a residential area. And there, I started looking through the clothes I'd stolen some time back. They were mostly dry by now, thanks to the heating in the car. All men's clothes after all. I'd inspected the heap once more. A veritable a mountain of gaudy jeans and sweaters. Probably someone around my age, around the same size it looked like. And sitting in the driver's seat of the car, I changed into a pair of jeans and a sweater. Hey, you should get changed too. They're all too big. Then will you go on wearing pajamas forever? Fine, she answered reluctantly, grabbing some jeans and other clothes, and opened the door. Hey, where are you going? To get changed. And just like that, she started walking to the park's bathroom. Hey, that was fast. She'd come back in a short order. The pink pajamas she'd been wearing in her hands, a white shirt, and a pair of jeans on her body. Well, that turned out fairly well. No answer. I'd expected this, but everything was too big and baggy on her. The jeans were too long and rolled far up at the cuffs, and the sleeves of the shirt were much the same way. The pajamas were better. Come now, don't say that. It's a little warmer this way at least. She made an only slightly dissatisfied face at my words. Oh, is that it? Were you hoping for more girlish clothes? Not really. The same response as ever. I was sure she was unhappy with her baggy shirt, but she soon returned to her usual lack of expression. It had begun to rain all of a sudden. The freezing rain falling from the frigid January sky, as if it had forgotten how to stop. The countless raindrops splattering on the windshield and obscuring the view from the inside. And when each grew too large for a surface tension to hold it up, a few of them gathered, slid down, became rivers. And these rivers swallowed up raindrops underneath them and ran to the bottom. I stared emptily at the rain from the inside. A parking lot somewhere, a desolate place in the middle of the mountains. Having finished shopping at a convenience store, we were spending the night here. The dinner menu: 2 rice balls, 500 milliliter Pocari Sweat, which is actually really good by the way, half a bag of potato chips. It's been a long time since we last did anything like this. Yeah, she murmured with a convenience store rice ball in one hand. It wasn't anything of wonderful quality, but it was far better than anything served up on 7th floor. And when we were both going after the potato chips, she suddenly stopped reaching for it. Is something the matter? Not really. But her eyes turned past the windshield glazed by the rain, at a few white flowers on the roadside. At some flowers soaked by rain. I didn't know if someone had planted them or if they were wild, but I remembered something about them. Were those Narcissus? Those are Narcissus. Oh, right, Narcissus. Well, I didn't know flower names all that well. I'd at least heard of Narcissus before. And this girl who seldom spoke a single word was actually talking about something. So I followed along. And speaking of which, are these Not exactly the real deal as well. Yeah, something like that. Hmm, so they must be pretty rare then. Not really, you can find them anywhere. Anywhere? And where exactly? It wasn't as if I had any deep purpose in asking. It was just that I was making conversation as best I could. And yet this girl thought about it for a bit, and slowly opened her mouth. West. West? Awaji Island is famous for them. Awaji Island? Hey, wait. How far away do you think that is? I just started driving a car, so I wasn't even halfway proficient yet. It was probably about 700 kilometers away, and even on the tollways, I couldn't say how long it would take. And in the first place, I didn't think we had enough money for that. If we went by normal highways instead of the tollways, there was no way we'd have enough gas. Hey, don't say stuff like that. You can't mean to go there, right? Who said I wanted to go? What? I just answered your question. And just like that, she went back to staring at the flowers across the windshield. The thick haze of the cold rain streaming on the glass. She kept gazing and gazing and gazing. I didn't particularly want to go there either, but I had nowhere else that I wanted to go. Alright, so we are on chapter 3 now. Let's go. My time was at a standstill. I piled useless trivia upon useless trivia, drew information from the TV and the TV alone, and soon nothing was real anymore, fading away into hollow space. But I loved looking at maps. Trains, cars. I loved things that could take me places. I spread out maps on top of my narrow bed, changed routes over and over and over. Sedans, coupes, convertibles, rode on so many different kinds of cars. The number one route, continuing on forever. I ran on that road forever and ever and ever. Indigo blue skies, beautiful coastlines. I ran until I came to the last of these places sketched in my dreams. Slowly tracing past the arc of a cape, running on the white sand of a beach, the sun to my back. If I but closed my eyes, I could go anywhere, toward landscapes that I had never seen with my own eyes, longing for the spoil upon which I could never hope to tread. My useless stockpile of trivia was the only thing that increased. All emptiness, all the colors of yearning. The Sky After the Rain, January 21st, 2005. The high flying clouds, streaming by at knife edge speeds. The unique swishing sound of tire on wet asphalt. And through it all, there we were, driving along as always. No destination, just the desire to keep going no matter what. It wasn't as if I was looking to go to Awaji Island at all. We didn't even have the gas money to get there anyway. But I drove straight ahead on unfamiliar roads, even as I thought these thoughts. But where are we? I was forced to wonder. I didn't know my geography very well to begin with, and I was seeing all sorts of place names that I didn't recognize. I had planned on driving into the ends of the earth, but with the GPS navigation system broken, I had no idea anymore. But before I knew it, I started looking around anxiously at the street signs as I drove. I don't know at all. What? Well, I don't know where we are right now. She said something to me, and I'd given her a casual response, because she probably wasn't going to know even if I asked her. Iruma District, Saitama Prefecture. What? The next right leads to the number 16 route towards Hachijo, or Hachi-Oji. There we go. You knew all this? Did you happen to live around here or something? No, nothing like that at all. It was a surprise. No, it wasn't just surprising. It was nothing short of a miracle that she knew the roads to this detail. Because no matter how I looked at it, she didn't seem to have driven around all that much herself. Then could it be... Do you know the way from here to Awaji Island? I don't understand why you're asking. Well, see, we might be able to get there on normal highways without having to get on the tollway. And we might just have enough gas money to get us there. Do you want to go there? Well, no, that's not what I meant. Then don't ask me. With those words, she fell silent, and she turned to face the window with as frosty a demeanor as ever. But she wasn't looking at the passing scenery. It felt like she was staring at something in the unreachable distance. Her, then don't ask me. Just what the hell was that supposed to mean? How would she have replied if I told her that I was planning on going? We simply continued on, no purpose, no aim. It wasn't as if we had a plan or schedule from the get-go. We just didn't want to die on 7th floor, or at our oh-so-fake homes. And maybe I alone, must have wanted something to show us the way, no matter what that way might be. January 22nd, 2005. It's cold. So it is. Some beach whose name I did not know. We'd reached the sea before we'd known it. I had been planning on heading west, but somehow it looked like I ended up going south. A pitch-black sky and a cold, windy waterfront. We both got out of the car and stared at the darkened sea. She stood apart from me as usual, and stared into the distance, where the black sky and ocean melted into the horizon's edge. And after seemingly taking in the view of the ocean for a while, she slowly started walking toward the beach. Hey, what do you think will happen? Now I've got no idea. Oh wait, nope, that was her. Now I've got no idea what you're talking about. Do you think I'd be able to die at peace if I just walked into the sea? Those were her words, as she slowly walked onto the sands, her back turned to me. The third time was the end. There was no fourth time. The choice was between dying on the 7th floor or dying at home. Apparently no one had escaped this choice. Those were the words that she herself had spoken to me. And yet on her second time around, she told me that she didn't want to die on the 7th floor or at home. This was after she'd explained the rules to me, after her duty to me was over. That's why I felt that this was what she meant. I don't know, I've never drowned before. And if I walked into the sea right now, would you stop me? She turned her head to look at me as she said this, the moon rising in the dark heavens as her backdrop. And her gaze, which had always been so far away, was directed straight at me. I don't know, I'd have to see when the time came. I guess so. She then turned her back to me and slowly started walking toward the sea once more. Hey, tell me. What is it? Oh, whoops, that's her. Ah, sorry. Do you want to be stopped? Upon hearing my words, she stopped short of the waves. A strong wind kicked up the spray that beat against her feet. If you want to be stopped, then I'll stop you. Not really. That's not it at all. Then it'll be fine if I don't stop you, right? There was no reply to my question, but her feet did not move any further. So that was her answer then and there. The high, high heavens of winter. Blue and clear, almost to the point of morning. Strong north winds beating against the electric wires overhead. The silver coupe reflecting that blue sky on its shining frame, with me at its wheel and with her as the passenger, as per usual. I didn't know where this was, but the real problem was that we were going to run out of gas soon. We didn't have that much money to begin with, and after various convenience store purchases, we had even less. Only about 7,000 yen left. Of course, I had no idea how many liters this car took, but we probably had enough money to fill the tank once. We still didn't really have a destination or anything, but if we didn't fill up, we could not go anywhere anymore. I'm going to fill up on gas. I see. And with that, I turned the steering wheel and drove into a gas station that was coming into view. Welcome! Will you be paying by credit or cash? Cash, please. Regular or premium? Regular? Premium? I had no idea. Well, then again, I had no idea about anything in this car. And on top of that, it had been a long time since those driver's license, classes. Which one would you like? Well, there I was at a loss for words, and there stood the gas station attendant waiting for me. And then just as I was about to answer at random because I didn't care which one of the two it was, she spoke from the passenger seat. Regular, please. Huh? Oh, okay, regular then. Okay then, regular, full tank. Paying with cash? Yeah, that'll be all. Okay then, thank you very much. The attendant skillfully began his Oh, it's a guy, not a girl. Whoops! Skillfully began his operation with those cheerful words. The strangely disagreeable smell of gasoline wafted in from the window that I'd opened roughly 10 centimeters. Hey, are you sure that this thing takes regular? She said nothing at all to this and just pointed at the prices list. Oh, so that was it. It was cheaper this way. I didn't understand it very well, but I didn't think that there was much of a difference in price. And then I saw the gasoline meter and the number of liters being displayed. 25, 26, 27, 28. The numbers were going by at incredible speed. Maybe I'd made a mistake. I began to get a little worried as I watched those numbers climb. I told him to fill the tank a while back, but I didn't have that much money on hand. Even with the coins, I only had about 7,000 yen, and of course I had no idea how many liters this tank took. What was I going to do if I didn't have enough money? I did some quick calculations and realized that after 60 liters I wouldn't have enough. 38, 39, 40, 41. The numbers kept climbing without slackening pace at all. And I became more and more worried over something I usually didn't give a second thought to. Damn, how many liters does this thing take? I let the words out before I knew it. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. Huh? This has a 50-liter tank, see? And just as she said, the gasoline meter stopped between 47 and 48. The sound of a receipt being printed out, and then the attendant at my window again. Thank you for waiting. The total comes to 5,240 yen. Oh, okay, here. I took out a 5,000 yen note and a crumpled 1,000 yen note from my pocket and handed them to the attendant. Alright, then your change comes to 760 yen. Here's your receipt. Thank you for your business. I turned straight onto the road upon hearing the attendant's cheerful voice. The silver coupe now in motion once more. On the bright side, I was no longer worried about running out of gas. And on the not so bright side, we only had about 2,000 yen left. This worried me, but there was something that preoccupied me much more. Hey, question. Could it be that you're an expert on cars too? Not really. What do you mean, not really? You knew this car took 50 liters of gas, didn't you? And this is where I'm gonna end the episode, guys. So I'm really hoping that you're enjoying the series so far. And if you did like this episode, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. So, bye-bye.